移民潮過咗咁耐都好似冇點停過，連英國都開始想 slow down immigration，cut 成30萬人添。There's a phrase in English, is the grass really greener on the other side? 這山望着那山高。最近我亦都有英國返嚟嘅朋友同我分享過，去到英國 get paid minimum wage 最低工資，30% 仲要去做 tax、national insurance 等等，喺 London 租埋屋。There's not much left every month.This video is sponsored by Cambly.
It's okay, it's
I'm not
okay.
good at.
如果你想揾真人同你去練習英語會話，傾唔同嘅題目 ，try out Cambly's group lessons。我人生嘅頭嗰幾份工咧就喺美國嗰度做嘅。One of them was air traffic control， 機場嘅控制塔。呢一份咧係我人生其中一份最癲嘅工嚟嘅。究竟有幾癲？喺美國返工可以有幾差 ？Is it really better to work in a Western country?And
the United States used to be a good country to work and live.
So actually, when I Googled the words American work culture, people don't really have anything good to say about this topic. I found an article from Business Insider, and they sort of listed out things that are bad about the American culture. So for example, they said, Americans tend to eat at their desk because they're so busy at work. So do you think that's true in the US or even Japan, Australia or Canada or China even?
Speaking for the US and Canada, in IT, yeah, it's quite common.
Yeah.
You know, people will run to the sandwich shop downstairs, pick up a sandwich, get a drink, sit down at the desk and continue.Sometimes we would even have lunch meetings. The company would buy lunch. That was the hook to bait you in. You don't have to bring your lunch. We will provide you with lunch.
Americans are afraid to challenge their bosses.
That's not true. Depends on the situation, right? But in public, never. It's just a common courtesy, right? We're a lot less formal in the US. For example,If you say, we have a 1 hour meeting starting at 9, at 10 o'clock, meeting's not over, sorry, but I have other things on my agenda. I'm sorry, I have to leave, and walk out. And if you have to go to the bathroom in the middle of a meeting, people get up.
剛才其實係 Cambly 嘅 Advanced Level Group Lesson， 係新上線嘅功能，由1名母語外教加2至3名嚟自世界各地嘅學生組成，相當於全球口語實戰訓練營。你會遇到有唔同口音嘅人，分享同埋交流唔同文化嘅故事。
Why I want to ask why do you leave Japan and do you have plan to go back to Japan or you just going abroad for study?
Yeah, I'm just go abroad for study and it's for my master degree course. I think I should go abroad and to see different culture.
預約上堂嘅時候，你可以選擇唔同嘅 topic 同埋程度嘅課，例如 finance、sports、world news 等等。我剛才上嘅就係 Your Week in Work。有一定水平嘅同學可以選擇中階，初級嘅同學亦都唔使擔心，呢度有 beginner 嘅課程。Cambly 嚟自美國 San Francisco， 擁有超過45000名英文係母語嘅導師，提供1對1或者網上團體英文課堂，支持網頁同埋 App， 可以24小時隨時隨地同真人練習講同聽英文。講錯其實唔緊要 ，If we don't make mistakes, how can we learn？ 唔好以為我哋頭先講完就算。其實導師一路喺上堂嘅時候，一路會喺 chat box 嗰度俾 feedback 俾我哋。
Yeah.
Okay, remember what you were talking about was the past. So make sure you use the past tense.
喺呢度輸入我嘅優惠碼 Maggie 2024，可以1蚊美金，即係港幣大約7.9，上1至30分鐘 group 外教試聽課。而家正值 Cambly 嘅粉絲回獻季，用 Maggie 2024買 Cambly 全線產品，仲有年卡專享55折嘅優惠。Cambly 隨時隨地學英文。以我自己見過嘅人啦，或者網上聽到嘅嘢，覺得好似好多人會覺得去外國咧就一定係好好嘅。咁當然我自己咧亦都比較 prefer 美國嘅生活，但係其實喺工作嗰方面咧都有好多唔好嘅嘢。講到喺美國做嘢，有邊一方面係比香港好呢？ My first real job was an internship at an airline when I was in college， 都算叫做 real job 嘅。咁呢間 airline 咧好多人都係 on salary， 而基本上所有人咧都係可以 work flex time。 And this is quite common in big companies as far as I know. 意思咧就係話你嗰日可以選擇返工，可能由7點至到3點，或者8點至4點，仲可以 skip 埋 lunch 添。咁當然你係可以一路做嘢一路食嘢，你老細係唔 care 嘅，佢會信你。呢一樣嘢咧就相信對好多父母嚟講咧係好 nice。因為有陣時可能你小朋友要遲啲放學啊，或者可能要早啲放學啊，咁你都可以大概 adjust 到你嘅 schedule 去湊佢哋。而呢一樣嘢咧喺我香港即係識到嘅朋友入邊咧係好少聽到人哋話可以咁樣做嘅。呢一樣嘢咧我就覺得即係美國做嘢咧係好有人情味。Compare to 我翻嚟香港嘅嗰份工係癲到我平時 overtime 幾多，放假都 overtime，HR 咧係唔會理嘅。而到有一日我翻工嘅時候，我話我唔舒服想早啲走，佢就即刻同我計時間咯。我大學畢咗業之後第2份工咧就去咗一間公司做 flight dispatcher。咁呢一份工咧就其實係有啲似好似幫個 pilot 做一個 secretary 一個 assistant 咁樣樣，佢要乜嘢咧你都要 support 佢嘅，包辦晒全架飛機嘅嘢基本上。當時呢份工咧就其實係 shift work 輪班嘅 ，but they allow me to choose 10-hour shifts。意思就係話我每日翻工翻10個鐘，咁就變咗我一個星期只係需要翻4日工，而唔係5日工，一個星期可以放3日假，所以真係慳翻好多 commute 嘅時間。同埋咧都係好準時放工嘅 ，there was not much overtime。因為 shift work 呢啲咧，如果佢一遲咗走咧，佢就要俾人工俾你嘅。So generally, in terms of big companies in the US, they're quite caring in terms of your work schedule。但係有一樣嘢係好唔好嘅咧，就係如果你美國生仔而要翻工嘅話咧，係真係都幾慘下嘅。因為我都真係 Google 先至知，原來美國咧係There's no law to require paid maternity leave， 即係冇法例咧去規定員工咧係有一個有薪嘅產假。香港都起碼好似係有14個星期，咁就真係要睇下你間公司好唔好啦。咁而我記得我當時喺 airline 做 intern 嘅時候咧，我個老細佢就話佢基本上生完仔之後2個星期咧佢就返工啦。呢一方面咧係的而且確唔及歐洲，譬如好似英國咁樣嘅。英國咧就好似話係有成39個星期係 paid maternity leave。好啦，跟住講到做嘢嗰方面 ，Are people really that nice?
And the United States used to be a good country to work and live, but now I'm a little bit upset because there's too much violence. Too much violence there. Everybody can buy guns. You can go to the supermarket and you can buy a gun when you're 18 years old.So
since you've worked in the US, was there anything that you didn't like about working in the US?
Yes, I was a number and I was never promoted. And you can work there for 7 years, 8 years, 9 years. You will never get promoted unless the manager dies. So there's no promotion.
喺香港嚟講咧，以我自己經驗，如果有外國人去做 managers 嘅時候咧，通常個 work culture 都會比較好啲嘅，會比較 relax 啲嘅。而我翻嚟香港嘅嗰份工咧，係真係多 office politics 到咧，我係直情係想唔做咯，係我其中一個原因令到我想唔做嗰份工。好多時候咧，我直情覺得嗰份工係 hostile work environment。咁你話係咪真係美國公司做嘢就真係全部都咁 nice 咧？可以話俾你聽，唔係。喺我臨翻嚟香港之前嗰份工咧，我就係做 air traffic control， 即係機場嘅控制塔。其實好多人咧會誤會咗做 air traffic control 咧就係地面喺度指揮飛機拍飛機嘅嗰個人。其實咧我哋喺控制塔嗰度做嘢嘅，負責控制飛機升降同埋佢哋嘅航道。And this job was the most interesting one。當時其實我只不過係一個 trainee 嚟嘅啫。And people say air traffic control is a very stressful job。Because one mistake can kill a whole plane of people。但係其實一開始做 trainee 嘅時候咧，佢就唔會喺一啲好大嘅機場去 train 你，就唔會好似香港國際機場咁樣嘅。I started at a small airport。好聽啲嚟講咧 ，there was a lot of interesting personalities at this job。唔好聽嚟講咧，就話呢啲嘅人咧，其實係好 extreme 嘅 personalities。But I think aviation in general, there are a lot more men than women。係一個好 male-dominant 嘅 industry， 大部分都係男人嚟嘅。講到 air traffic control 咧，其實入邊咧係有好多 ex-military 嘅人喺度，好多退休咗嘅軍人，因為通常佢哋退休都好早嘅軍人嚟講，所以當時咧，如果你係一個女仔咧， 已經係少之又少啦，跟住仲要加上我係亞洲人呢，係基本上我可能係0.001%嚟嘅，而可能淨係得我同幾個女仔入邊咁樣樣，係非常之罕有 ，kind of like a unicorn, I guess. In terms of race and sex, people in the US are generally quite sensitive about it. You almost don't want to describe someone as black. 但係我自己呢，有陣時就覺得，即係雖然 people wouldn't say anything about it, but at times I did feel like being an Asian girl was a disadvantage. 因為 air traffic control 都係 shift work 輪班嘅工作，而個 schedule 嗰方面呢，就有分開兩個部分。So I was on the good side of the schedule, and people there were quite nice. But there was another side of the schedule. They called it the dark side. And it was full of people with extreme personalities. 即係未必個個都係嘅，但係有幾個係咯，我覺得就。For example, 當時咧就有一個比較後生啲嘅男仔啦。咁通常咧都會輪流去 in charge 嗰個嘅 shift 嘅。咁當時咧，如果佢係 in charge 嘅時候咧，佢就會將成間嘅 radar room 咧就搞到勁黑。係真係伸手不見五指 ，you could barely see your fingers。咁所以其實係有啲危險嘅，咁所以老一輩嗰啲咧就好唔中意佢啦。And there was a lot of backstabbing between the two sides of the schedule. There were little fights here and there. It kind of felt like a kindergarten at times. 其實我覺得最搞笑就係呢份工咧係一份好慎重嘅工作嚟嘅。You need security clearance for it, especially after 9/11. 咁喺佢請你嘅過程咧，你係需要 take 一個 psychological test to make sure you're not crazy。咁好多人咧就其實都質疑話呢個 test 究竟準唔準，因為我哋返工嘅嗰度好多同事咧，嗰啲 personalities 有陣時係都真係幾古怪同埋幾 extreme 下嘅。講到人工嗰方面咧，其實個人工又唔可以話好高，又唔可以話好低，因為當時我都仲係 on trainee pay， 但係足夠嘅，我一個人嘅生活嚟講。同埋因為我嗰陣時住嘅地方係好似俾人哋發放邊疆咁樣，俾人 exile， 我係真係住到咧去邊境咁滯嘅。咁所以嗰笪地方嘅 rent 租金咧就唔係話好貴，可能佔我人工30% 左右。咁然之後20至25% 就可能去咗 tax 啦。So I still had leftover every month。最後 why did I eventually leave the US？ 因為其實嗰陣時咧我只係20歲頭左右，24歲啦。而頭先我所講 air traffic control 嗰份工咧係真係好 middle of nowhere， 即係落雪咧係落成尺咁高啦，又基本上真係乜嘢嘢都冇啦，係真係去到加拿大同美國邊境咁樣樣咯。And on a slow day, I would be watching snowplowers plow snow on the runway。所以當有一份更好嘅工俾到我嘅時候，而個 job offer 又覺得唔錯嘅時候咧，我就即刻應承咗返嚟香港啦。And it was also because I thought the grass would be greener on the other side. And it turned out it made me want to quit aviation. 嗰陣時真係大壓力到咧，我係會經常病咯。So to summarize, the grass is not necessarily greener on the other side. So if you're working in the UK or anywhere else in the world at the moment, please let me know. 有冇啲好好或者好唔好嘅嘢想同大家分享？ Looking for someone to chat with in English? Use my code to practice with Cambly today. I hope you liked today's video. Do me a favor and hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. 亦都請你購買超級感謝 Super Thanks 去支持我嘅 channel. Thanks for watching today's video and I'll see you in the next one.